The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your own mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will have strength. Marcus Aurelius. It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about other people's opinions than our own. Marcus Aurelius. These three quotes that you have just heard were all written by one man, the Roman king, Marcus Aurelius. Through applying these quotes into our everyday life, we can begin to develop an unshakable and positive mind. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 5 of the Insightful Podcast. Today, the topic at hand will be a discussion about how we can develop a positive mindset so that we could go through the world living an improved life and be more optimistic for the future. Before we start, I just want to say that if you guys are enjoying the podcast, remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and like the video as well, so it gets pushed into the YouTube algorithm. Also, comment any constructive criticism about the podcast. This will allow me to improve the quality and keep moving forward. Without further ado, let's get into this. I first want to start with, why do we all have a negative mindset? It feels to me that we all start life with this somehow. Maybe it's just myself, but a lot of people around me all have a negative mindset from the beginning. We all think we cannot do things. The other day I was playing soccer and there was this kid there and he was saying, "Oh, I don't think we're going to win. I don't think we're going to win," just because we got one goal scored on us, immediately doubting himself. So I feel that maybe, in my opinion, a lot of us start life with a very negative mindset. But why does this happen? This happens, in my opinion, because we always limit ourselves and we always want to be safe. We always come from a place of not wanting to do too much or doing things that maybe we're unsure of. So that's why we begin, and it spirals to become something negative. The people around you also play a very big part. Me myself, I've never really had anyone in my family that has been super ambitious. So when you decide to want to do something bigger than maybe the people around you, they start to doubt you, and these doubts start to stay in your mind and you start to believe them. So at least for me, I remember there was this one time I wanted to play football, for example, and there was someone around me telling me that I shouldn't, I was too small, I was going to get injured, I wouldn't be able to work in the future if I got hurt too badly. So immediately I decided not to play football just because of that one person's opinion. And it was a bit of my own doubts too before this person said this, but it was a bigger reason why I didn't end up going through with it. And it all comes from a place of having negative people around you and their negative mindsets developing on your own. So I think that's a very big reason why we have negative mindsets. It's mostly because of the people we're associated with. Because if you're born and the people around you are nothing but positive, I don't think you would ever have this kind of mindset. But a lot of us have to break this type of thought process because we've grown up with it our whole lives. So it's something to consider. Also, the role that social media has played on our mindset. I think a lot of negative thinking now comes from Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever the case may be. It's seeing other people doing better than you and you hating yourself or getting mad at yourself because you're not in their position. You start to develop a thought process of, "Oh, I'm never going to make it. I can never do what they do." And you start to really, doubt yourself and have a negative mindset. You also start to believe that what they're doing is fake, right? And a lot of what's on social media is fake. Like everything's fake. So you start to doubt it in that sense. Maybe this person built a successful business, but in your head, you're like, "Oh, it's social media. It's fake. He didn't do anything." And then you doubt ever trying to make that business because you believe it was fake from the beginning, you know? And then you also see other things that you compare yourself to. oh, maybe this person's having a good relationship. It looks like they're going on vacations with their partner all the time. And look at me, I'm at home, I'm alone, I have no one, no one beside me, no one to care. And you start going down that rabbit hole of thinking, right? And I think we need to limit ourselves on social media. I always say that if you're I struggle with it. I scroll sometimes too, but I try my best not to compare myself to others because I know what comes from that. But you should only be on social media if you're creating, not consuming. If you're just consuming all day, I don't see really any benefit to it. Like, what do you want to be in the loop in? You know, you want to see the memes and stuff. I get it. You want to have a laugh, but like, I don't think it's really worth the trade off if you're just going to be scrolling all day and not creating any content, right? So you guys got to be very careful of what you consume on social media because we start life, in my opinion, with a negative mindset and doubting ourselves. And I think social media only makes that worse. What you consume is what you become. Let me give you an analogy. Let's say I give you a diet, and this diet is way better off than what you've been eating before. And you were before you were eating a bunch of bullshit, sweets, just carbs, nothing to help better your physique. Once you start eating healthy, what happens to your body? Your body changes. You start to grow. You start to put on muscle. You start to feel better mentally. Your energy levels are higher. It's because of what you consume is the way you feel. So when your body feels like shit, most likely you're consuming bullshit, and that's a byproduct of what you've been eating. So the same thing goes for us consuming what we read, what we see on TV, what we see on social media. All this stuff plays a part into how our ideologies are, how our mind works. So you need to be careful on what you consume on a daily basis because even the music you listen to, right? If you're listening to sad music all the time, you think you're going to have a positive mindset? You think you're going to look at the world in a positive light? Of course not. You're going to be thinking about sad things all the time and it's going to hold you back. So you must be careful on what you consume when it comes from anything that's if it's the food you eat, the messages you're taking in, the words that people are saying to you, you know. And you never want to be surrounded by people that always say I can't do something, I can't do this, I can't do that. They have an excuse for everything. At the end of the day, you could try to accomplish anything you want, and if people around you keep saying that it's impossible or they can't, they use that word too much, can't, you're never going to go nowhere with those people in your life. At the end of the day, the best tip I can give is that no matter what you try in life and what pursuit you may go upon, you have to all you could for sure, all the certainty that you have is how much work you put in. It may not go according to plan and succeed in the way that you want it to succeed, but all you can do is consider the work you're putting in. How much work are you putting in? You can't control the result, but you can control the work. So don't think I can't. Just keep working, keep trying, and someday it will pay off. I am not no one that has accomplished anything great yet. I will one day. But for example, me, I was posting on Instagram. I started posting consistently on Instagram for like 6 months to 8 months now, every single day a reel. And finally, last Friday, one of my reels blew up. It's now at 470,000 views. All that time, all those 8 months of posting videos, seeing no results, I was stuck at 200 views every single video is what I would get. Nothing more than that. Maybe 300 sometimes, maybe that odd 1,000 view video. No gained followers, nothing. I stayed consistent. I didn't allow that negative mindset to take over the one I currently have. And I had a video blow up. And now I've gained almost 200 followers in only 3, 4 days. And the video is now at 400,000 views. And my new reels are doing way better now. So, what I'll say to you guys is if you let that negative mindset win, maybe I would have never had these videos doing better. And, I believe that in the future, my social medias could be something great and that could help people. So why would if I gave up when I had the doubts in the beginning when I was only getting 200 views, I would not be where I am today. And I haven't accomplished anything great. I never want to say that I'm something that I'm not. My social media, I only got 400 followers, but I do have a video that's doing really well now. And I couldn't be happier, because I know I'm on the path to something great, and I won't allow that negative mindset to hold me back anymore. And also, the thing that makes me the most annoyed is society makes it cool to have a negative mindset now. You know, how many videos do you see of people being sad, or sad edits or whatever, and people are romanticizing being sad, and it's almost like a trend, and it's almost like a cool thing to do. You see these videos, you know what I'm talking about, these real videos that are getting hundreds of thousands of likes per day, and I want you guys to know that those videos are fake. A lot of the times people post those videos for views, and I will be honest with you. I've been that kind of person. I posted, relatable content that maybe is not the most positive stuff. But was I like sad in the moment? No. And the problem is that you need to watch everything on social media with a certain type of lens. Why are you watching it? Is it to get people, is it to get yourself in a better mood, is it to get yourself in a worse mood? But you shouldn't allow yourself to be in a certain mood just because of what you consume on social media. That's not how you should go about life. You should look at life in a positive light from the actual actions that you're doing on a daily basis. you know if you're going towards a goal and you made some good progress today, you should be happy, you should be positive that day because you got closer to your goals. Don't allow the motivation on social media to bring you to a high, and then the sad reels on social media or the TikToks bring you to a low, and then your mood is just going up and down all the time. You can't live life like this. There's plenty of people, and I know you guys know this too, that will base their whole personality off a trend that's going on social media. And you see it. You really see it, right? And this is something that you got to be careful of, because if you are basing your personality off what you consume on social media, you don't even know who you are anymore. Why do you think the way you think? Why do you talk the way you talk? Why do you act the way you act? Is it because what you're seeing on social media? This is not good. This is not who you are, right? And now I was a victim of this too, because this is the problem, and it goes back to my other podcast on reflection. Is during the time when that whole Sigma era was going on, for example, people thought it was cool to be lonely. People thought it was cool to be alone and have no one around you. And I fell victim to that. Like going to the gym, I wanted to be alone. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't want to socialize with anyone because I had that whole mindset because of what I was consuming. But now I look back, that was ridiculous. It was stupid. I was basing my whole day to day actions on some bullshit I was seeing on social media. Why would I do that? It makes no sense. So you got to be careful, and you got to reflect, and you got to understand, hey, I could watch this stuff if I'm not going to become what it's saying. But then you got to ask yourself, why are you even watching it then? You know, if you think it's for entertainment and then you're developing a personality that maybe you wouldn't have wanted because of the stuff you're seeing, or going through these phases of different ways of who you are because of the trends, you got to stop this, right? Honestly, it's better to probably delete these platforms if that's what they're doing to you. And it goes back, like, guys, social media isn't real. You know, the stuff you see on social media most of the time is fake. Most people add clips and stuff to make it so that they're doing something cool or something crazy. The other day I posted something on my this podcast is TikTok, and it was a bunch of clips from when I went on vacation last year. If someone saw that, they'd be like, "Oh, this guy's going on vacation all the time, all this." No, they're old videos. You know, you got to start viewing this stuff in the right way. All these videos could be from years ago. Maybe these people aren't living these experiences in this current moment. Maybe their life isn't where they want it to be, and that's totally fine. But don't bring up your own idea of what's happening when you're seeing these videos, because this is what becomes of you. You start to compare yourself, you start to do all these things, and then this negative mindset starts to spiral and spiral, right? And as we grow older and we start to age, if we don't catch ourselves with this negative mindset, it's only going to get worse. you know what happens when you're getting older, you're trying to experience life, you're trying to get new experiences, all these things, and you're going through it all the time with a negative mindset. you know Anytime I would go to a social gathering that I didn't really be used to like going before, like going to social events that I never went to before, I'd always view it in a negative mindset because I was always more of like a introverted person. But every time I'd go there, it was always better than what I thought it would be, and that just all comes from having such a bad idea of what something could be without even experiencing it myself. So you need to be careful with this, guys, because I would say I wasted a lot of my years of my life just thinking negatively all the time, and even thinking negatively towards others. So you have to be careful, because I let those ideas and stuff feed into my mind, and then I start to view it everywhere. Like you see all the time of like, oh, don't let this person do this to you, or you prove them wrong, and all these different types of things. And it all comes from what you see on social media, because I would never have thought of the way I did when I was younger, because I was so impressionable because of social media. And that's where I came to the biggest realization when creating this idea for the podcast, is that the biggest reason out of all the ones I've just mentioned, even the ones about being around your friends, the type of environment you're around, it all comes from, I think the worst thing is social media, because people are negative all the time now. People have no positivity. People don't want to see others positive. You guys know that. There's plenty of people that will see someone else happy or see someone else in a positive mood, and they'll try to shut it down because they want to bring them down with them, right? So you have to be careful with this. Speaking about all this stuff, we need to get into what really matters. How do you build a positive mindset? Because once we understand what the negative mindset is and how we've have developed it, how do we change that? How do we get that into a positive mindset so that we could go through life in a better way? You need to assess what you think in the first place. Where did it come from? Like we just said, you have to list these things. You have to write them down. You have to understand, okay, I have this negative mindset because of the type of content I'm posting on social media. So what do I need to do to reverse that? I need to get rid of those social medias, or I need to change my algorithm by being not interested in these types of videos, and maybe put some more educational content on your Instagram and your TikTok and your YouTube. That's where you need to start. You need to assess your situation. Is it the friends I have? Is it that one friend that hates on you when you're waking up early to go do something, or he's making fun of you when you're taking your meal prep too seriously? Oh man, just have a pizza, just do this, just have a sandwich, whatever. And why are you bringing rice and chicken to the hangout? If it's those people that are constantly trying to bring you down, and you could, if you're someone that could kind of tell and understand others, you could tell if it's coming from a joke or if it's coming from an insecurity. And if it's coming from an insecurity from that person, I believe that you should speak to them and point it out, call them out on it. And if they don't want to admit to their mistakes and what they're doing and how they're treating you, then maybe this is someone that you don't want around you too much, because they're only going to bring you down. They're only going to keep you in the same place in life, right? What's the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. If you want to build a positive mindset but are hanging around people that are all negative, you think you're going to change? You think that it's going to change? No, it will not. It will never change if you just keep surrounding yourself with those types of people. You have to cut them out. It's sad, but you have to cut them out, because you can only give someone so many chances, correct? And it depends how much time you've wasted too. If you're way older or you're not where you want to be, you got no time to waste, man. You have to do something now. So don't hesitate. Review it, reflect on it, and understand, okay, this has been happening for a while now and there's been no change, and I've spoke to them about it and they still haven't changed and still haven't wanted to be different and wanted to help me. If that doesn't happen for you, maybe you should consider cutting them out of your life. The next step is be very diligent in what you consume. Going back to the content, you need to cut out the bad content, the negative stuff, the stuff that is keeping you in the same mind frame that you are currently in. You need to unfollow those people that are making the sad content, making the negative content. Don't be in the comment sections. You know what I'm talking about, the comment sections where people are hating all the time. People are being negative about the video they're currently seeing. You could see the nicest thing, the coolest thing, and they'll still be negative. You got to cut that stuff out of your life, man. You have to. Because I feel that that is the biggest reason that we are negative nowadays. It's because of that. It's also what you consume. Are you listening to sad music like I said before? There was a time in my life where all I did was listen to sad music, and it's because I wanted to feel sad. Why do you want to feel sad? Why would you want to feel sad? There is people nowadays, such as myself in the past, that wanted to feel sad. Why would you chase sadness? We have a limited amount of time here to do what we want, and you're going to spend it being sad or wanting to be sad? You have to be careful with the music you listen to, guys, because I think it does play a part in your thought processes. Of course, like if you listen to a sad music and it really relates to who you are, you might start crying, all these different types of things, and it keeps you in that negative loop. It keeps you in looking at life in such a negative way. So maybe you have to cut out those types of artists or the music that you're listening to that's very sad, because it ain't gonna help you, man. It ain't gonna help you. I believe another thing that everyone must do to develop a strong mind and a positive mind is take on a physical pursuit involving exercise. If that's the gym, bodybuilding, sports, if it's soccer, basketball, if it's martial arts, you need a physical pursuit. You don't need to be Mr. Olympia. You don't need to be a pro soccer player. You don't need to be a pro boxer, but you need something that you could strive for every single day that you could become better in. What helped me look at life in such a better way was the gym. Because the gym, no matter what, any day that I would come in and show up, I was just a bit better. Even if it was one rep, if I did one extra set on an exercise, every single day I could become better. Imagine if you were improving every single day. Your mind just views life in such a better way. Tomorrow you could become better. The day after you could be a more improved version of yourself. Why wouldn't you want something like that? You know, maybe yesterday you got 6 out of 10 penalties in, but then tomorrow you get seven. You're going to be proud of yourself. And this is the type of loop you need in your life. Not the negative feedback loop, the being sad all the time and it keep going day after day after day. You get more and more sad. You need a positive one. You need one of improvement. Every single day you're improving. Just a bit, just a bit. Maybe your diet was a bit cleaner today. You drank a bit more water. You read a bit more. You need that. And especially with the physical pursuit. The physical pursuit will keep you for your whole life because you could always become better. You could always become better in a sport. You could always get a better physique. You could always be a better boxer. These are all things you need. A physical pursuit is what you're missing. And a big thing that we don't realize that clouds are subconscious is the words we use. Like I was saying before, I can't, it's impossible, there's no way. These words have a great effect on our identity as a person. If you're constantly doubting yourself and your abilities, you'll be negative to that one thing and it will spiral in other aspects of your life. If you're saying, oh, I can never do a sport, I'm not good, I'm not athletic. Next thing you know, it's a career and you're saying, I can never do that. I can never see a life with that. I'm not good enough. It's going to spiral with anything. You're going to meet a nice partner and you're going to say to yourself, oh, I don't deserve her. I'm not good enough for her, you know? And it's just going to keep going and it's going to go to all aspects of your life. You got to replace these words because these words are powerful. You don't realize it, but it is. Stop saying I can't. Stop saying it's impossible. Stop saying there's no way and start using I could do anything that I put my mind to, because at the end of the day, it may sound cringy, it may sound overused, but it's the truth. If you get up every single day and you work extremely hard towards that one goal, you're telling me you won't get nowhere in it? It's impossible. That is impossible. That's the only time you could use it. It is impossible to put yourself through hell every single day for one thing and you not reap any results from it. Do it for 10 years straight and tell me you won't be successful in it. You can't fail at something that you're passionate about. You can't fail at something that you're doing 12 hours of work on every single day. You'll never fail. You will get results. May not happen now, may not happen tomorrow, may not happen next week, may not happen next month, next year, but it will happen. And this is the proof. One day this podcast is going to be massive, and this clip is going to get this video is going to get clipped, and you're going to see that what I said was true, because I could see it. I am putting my hard work into this podcast every single day. If it's outreaching to new guests, if it's making clips, if it's making threads, if it's editing, I'm doing all these things every single day. You're telling me that in 10 years this won't be something great? Watch and see. You also need to start meditating on what will happen if you keep thinking this way. What will life be like if you keep going on your journey and viewing it so negatively? What I always say is things are going to happen in your life no matter what. The only thing you can control is how you perceive it. If you perceive it in a negative way, it's going to be way worse than you perceive it as. If you perceive it in a positive way, it might be way better than how you perceive it as. So you pick. What do you want? Do you want it to view everything in a positive life? What do you gain from that? You gain more peace. You gain being more happy in those hard times. The negative thing, you gain nothing. You gain absolutely nothing. So change the way you think. It's all about your perspective. For example, when I'm dealing with a tough new challenge and it's very difficult and I don't know how I'm going to get through it, this new thing is, I always like to say, is God's testing me right now. God is testing me to see if I really want what I say I want. He's testing me to see if I'll go through with what I say I want to do. That's what matters. This has allowed me to grow as a person so much and have more peace in those difficult times and those times where I'm very uncertain of what's going to happen. Is that this is all a test from God. This is something you could apply to your own life. Anytime you're going through something difficult, an injury, something that you don't know what the outcome will be, just say, this is a test from God. Everything is a test from God at the end of the day. This is how I like to view it. I hope this podcast was valuable for you guys. So, I want to leave you with a quote that you can meditate on. And hopefully, you could apply it to your own life. Life is very short and anxious for those who forget the past, neglect the present, and fear the future. Seneca. Remember, guys, there is too many benefits with living life in a positive way and viewing it in a positive way. And there's too many cons if you keep going through it negatively. You know? I believe that you're much better off going through life in a positive mindset than a negative one. Life is short. Why spend it hating the world and viewing it like it's against you? I hope this episode provided you guys with some value that you can actually apply in your life. The last thing I want to say is that the small amount of viewers that I do have, don't just watch. I would love for you guys to just watch me for a deeper reason. You know, I don't just want you guys to watch it to make you feel better and not take any action. The whole objective of this is that you could see it and take action in your life. My whole goal with my other social media, my fitness one, is that I just want to grow it so I could funnel people into this, because this is what truly matters. These types of conversations, these types of insights. That's why it's called the Insightful Podcast. Because not only am I gaining insights from interviewing people, researching topics, but I also want you guys to. Because that's what matters. That's what's going to help us be a more improved version of ourselves for the future. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a rating on Spotify, because that helps out a lot. And there is a section for you guys to write in. Let me know any feedback so I can improve this insightful podcast because I want it to be the best thing for you guys. And I'll see you in the next one. We gain insight in order to move forward in life.